Hello everybody and welcome to Fenil Shah channel. Schools teach us important things. From a very young age, we spend years sitting inside classrooms learning subjects like mathematics, science, history, geography, languages, and many other topics that help us understand the world around us. Education is one of the most important parts of society, and schools definitely play a huge role in shaping students and preparing them for the future. Teachers work hard every single day to guide students, explain concepts, and help young people build knowledge and discipline. Without schools and education systems, society would not progress. But after spending years as a student and observing different experiences, I slowly realized something important. Some of the most important skills students actually need in real life are never properly taught inside classrooms. And honestly, I think many students only realize this much later in life because schools often focus heavily on examinations, marks, assignments, and academic performance. But real life requires much more than just good marks on paper. Many students know how to solve equations, memorize definitions, and complete exams successfully. But at the same time, they struggle with confidence, communication, handling stress, managing time, dealing with failure, or making independent decisions. And the reason is not that students are unintelligent. The reason is that many of these skills are simply never properly taught. I personally feel that our education system sometimes prepares students very well for examinations, but not always for real life situations. For example, think about communication skills. In today's world, communication is extremely important. Whether someone wants to become a business person, teacher, lawyer, entrepreneur, content creator, manager, scientist, or even a student leader, communication matters everywhere. The ability to express ideas, speak confidently in front of people, explain thoughts properly, and interact with others can completely change opportunities in life. But many students spend years inside schools without ever being properly taught how to communicate confidently. In fact, many students become scared of speaking publicly because they fear judgment or making mistakes. And sometimes students with average marks but excellent communication skills become more successful later in life because they know how to present themselves and connect with people. Another important thing schools rarely teach properly is financial knowledge. This is honestly one of the biggest gaps in education systems. Students learn advanced theories, difficult formulas, and complex chapters, but many finish school without understanding basic money management. Many students are never taught how taxes work, how savings works, how budgeting works, how investing works, how loans work, or even how financial decisions affect daily life. But sooner or later, every person has to deal with money and financial responsibility. And because students are not prepared early, many people learn these lessons later through mistakes and difficult experiences instead of proper education. Now, let's talk about something extremely important, that is failure. I think schools unintentionally create fear about or around failure. From a young age, students are taught that high marks mean success and low marks means failure. Examinations become stressful, comparison becomes common. Students begin comparing themselves with classmates, friends, and expectations from society. And slowly, many students begin believing that their marks define their intelligence or worth. But real life does not work like that. Failure is actually a normal part of growth. Every successful person fails at some time. Every entrepreneur, leader, scientist, athlete, or creator has experienced mistakes, rejections, and disappointment. But schools often do not teach students how to emotionally handle failure in a healthy way. Students are taught how to score marks, but not always how to recover after disappointment. And I think emotional strength is one of the most important skills anyone can develop. Because in real life, there will always be challenges, setbacks, and moments where things do not go according to plan. Another important skill schools rarely teach deeply is critical thinking. Many education systems still focus heavily on memorization. Students memorize chapters, definitions, and answers mainly to perform well in exams. But true learning is much bigger than memorization. Students should learn how to question ideas, analyze situations, form independent opinion, solve problems creatively, and think logically. Because the world is constantly changing and evolving. Information is available everywhere now. Technology is evolving rapidly. Artificial intelligence is changing industries, and in such a world, independent thinking becomes extremely valuable. Students should not only learn what to think, they should also learn how to think. Another major skill is time management. As students grow older, responsibilities increase rapidly. Balancing studies, personal life, extracurricular activities, internships, projects, goals, and mental health becomes difficult. And many students struggle because nobody really teaches them how to manage time effectively. Students are often told, study harder, but they are not always taught how to plan schedules, how to avoid procrastination, how to stay disciplined, or how to become balanced, and how to rest. And later in life, poor time management creates stress, burnout, and pressure. I also think schools should spend more time teaching students about mental health and emotional well being. Modern students face huge pressure today. There is pressure from academics, pressure from social media, pressure from expectations, and pressure from competition. And sometimes pressure from comparing lifestyles online. Many students silently struggle with stress, anxiety, and self doubt. But conversations about mental and emotional well being are still limited in many educational environments. Students should learn that asking for help is okay, making mistakes is okay, feeling confused sometimes is normal, and mental health matters just as much as the physical health. Now, again, the video is not meant to attack schools or teachers. Schools do many wonderful things. Teachers work incredibly hard. Education is one of the foundations of civilization. And honestly, many schools today are improving and adapting slowly. But personally, I feel education systems around the world can still evolve further. Because success in life is not only about marks, ranks, or report cards. Real success also depends on confidence, communication, discipline, emotional strength, creativity, adaptability, leadership, critical thinking, and most importantly, lifelong learning. And these are skills every student deserves to develop. I think education should not only prepare students to pass exams, education should prepare students to understand life. And maybe in the future, schools and education systems will slowly become more balanced between academics and real world skills. Because students are not just preparing for examinations, students are preparing for their future lives. And that is something we should all think about. But anyway, that was my opinion. Let me know in the comments what is one important thing you think schools should teach students that is currently missing. I would genuinely love to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.